Let's start off with talk about just how cold it actually got during these brutal back-to-back winters. And we're not talking wind chill here. This is actual air temperature. In January 2014, Chicago bottomed out at minus 15 degrees Fahrenheit. And it didn't stop there. Minneapolis dropped to minus 19, and in parts of Maine, it plunged all the way to minus 24 degrees. That kind of cold doesn't just feel uncomfortable, it's dangerous. The following winter, 2014 to 2015, wasn't much better. St. Paul saw minus 11, and Detroit hit minus 13. While slightly less extreme than the year before, the cold came in waves, and it lasted. For millions of Americans, just stepping outside was like entering a deep freeze, and that wasn't even the worst of it when combined with brutal wind chills. Now let's talk snow, and not just a few flurries. Some cities were absolutely buried during these two winters. In 2013 to 2014, Detroit saw nearly 95 inches of snow, almost triple its average. Columbus, Ohio had 56.4 inches, the most in a few years, and Erie, Pennsylvania, an incredible 139.4 inches of snow. That's more than 11 feet. The very next winter, 2014 to 2015, it was the Northeast's turn to take the hit. Boston got absolutely slammed with 110.6 inches, setting a new all-time record, and even New York City picked up over 49 inches, making it one of their snowiest seasons in recent memory. These weren't just cold winters. They were wall-to-wall snow events, week after week, bringing cities to a standstill. Now let's talk snow, and not just a few flurries. Some cities were absolutely buried during these two winters. In 2013 to 2014, Detroit saw nearly 95 inches of snow, almost triple its average. Columbus, Ohio had 56.4 inches, the most in a few years, and Erie, Pennsylvania, an incredible 139.4 inches of snow. That's more than 11 feet. The very next winter, 2014 to 2015, it was the Northeast's turn to take the hit. Boston got absolutely slammed with 110.6 inches, setting a new all-time record, and even New York City picked up over 49 inches, making it one of their snowiest seasons in recent memory. These weren't just cold winters. They were wall-to-wall snow events, week after week, bringing cities to a standstill. California had it one of the worst droughts in recent history. The winter of 2013 to 2014 and 2014 to 2015 had very low rainfall and snowfall. But the following two winters after that significantly reduced drought with several pineapple expresses. It was 10 years ago when Boston began one of the snowiest stretches in its history. It all started with a blizzard, dubbed Snowmageddon, that slammed the region from January 26th to 27th, 2015. This wasn't just your average snowstorm. Wind gusts reached up to 75 miles per hour across Massachusetts, stranding residents and grinding travel to a halt. And believe it or not, that was only the beginning. Let's take a look at that first storm. Over just 2 days, it delivered record-breaking snowfall across the region. In Worcester, it became the snowiest storm on record, dumping 34 inches, with some areas nearby reaching up to 36 inches. In Boston, the totals surpassed 2 feet, officially ranking as the city's 5th snowiest storm ever recorded. Snowmageddon kicked off what would become a relentless and historic winter for New England. And that was just the beginning. Over the next several weeks, Boston would be buried again and again, storm after storm piling up more snow. By the end of the season, the city had recorded 110.6 inches of snowfall, making it the snowiest winter on record for Boston. Keeping roads clear became a full-time battle. The city went through massive amounts of road salt, and when plowing couldn't keep up, they had to haul snow away to designated snow farms, giant lots where snow was stacked and left to slowly melt. There were 4 major snow farms operating across the Boston area. One of the biggest was in the Seaport District, where snow piled up to an astonishing 75 feet high. It took until mid-July, yes, July, for that final mountain of snow to fully melt. That gives you an idea of just how extreme that winter really was. So what caused the extreme cold and snow of the back-to-back brutal winters in the mid-2010s? Let's start with the Pacific Decadal Oscillation, or PDO. During these winters, it was in a strong positive phase, shown here as PDO+. That warmed up the waters near the west coast, which helped anchor a persistent ridge of high pressure over the Pacific. That ridge deflected the jet stream northward into Alaska, where it stayed unusually warm, and then forced it to plunge southward over central and eastern North America. That sharp dip helped lock in repeated Arctic outbreaks. We also saw high sunspot activity during this stretch, which may have influenced stratospheric circulation and contributed to polar vortex disruption. Another player was the QBO, or quasi-biennial oscillation. Around this time, it was in a favorable phase that allowed colder air to more easily spill south from the Arctic. Together, all these factors, the PDO+, active sun cycle, favorable QBO phase, and a buckled jet stream, worked in sync to create one of the coldest and snowiest periods in recent U.S. history. Since those brutal back-to-back winters of 2013 to 14 and 2014 to 15, we've had some cold shots and memorable moments, just not on that same widespread, relentless scale. Winters like 2020-21 and even this past season had their flashes of harshness. In fact, New Orleans just saw a once-in-a-lifetime winter storm this year, something rarely seen that far south. But when we look back at the past decade, those two winters still stand out as the most extreme for snow, cold, and sheer duration.